have a wife named Hannah. I'm just an ordinary office worker with a pretty normal life. The only thing I can really brag about is the fact that I live in a house with a little pond in the yard. But it's not like I'm rich or anything. It's just my family home out in the countryside. Around here, a house with a yard isn't all that special. In that pond, I keep koi fish. My parents passed away a while ago, so it's just me and my wife Hannah living here. We don't have kids. For the most part, I've been pretty satisfied with this quiet life, but there's one problem. My wife is what you'd call a bad cook. Her dishes always end up tasting confusing. She loves using trendy herbs and mystery spice powders, throwing them in like there's no tomorrow, so the flavors and smells never really come together. I've told her more than once, just stick to the basics: salt, sugar, soy sauce, that kind of thing. But she won't listen. She's got a lot of pride when it comes to her cooking. I've been cooking for myself ever since I was a student, all the way through my single years before we got married. I'm actually pretty decent in the kitchen. Standard home cooking, nothing fancy, but I can make most things. Maybe that's why she feels a bit competitive with me, especially since she's a full-time homemaker. One evening, I got home from work and, unusually, she greeted me with a huge smile. Dinner time is when things usually get a little tense between us. I try to help with the dishes and casually offer small tips or suggestions about her cooking, but she tends to take it as criticism and gets upset. That night, she pointed proudly at a pot on the stove.
Guess what? I made your favorite seafood curry, and this one is my masterpiece.
I'd never seen her this confident about a meal before. Oh, curry, huh? I replied. Curry is actually one of the more tolerable things she makes, but sometimes she tries to make it from scratch with exotic spices, and it turns out weird. That night, though, the aroma in the air was familiar. Maybe she used store-bought curry roux this time. Nice! I was getting hungry. Thanks, honey, I said with a smile. As I sat down at the table, I noticed something odd. Hannah didn't have any curry in front of her. She said,
"Oh, I actually already ate. It was just so good when I tasted it that I couldn't help myself. Sorry."
"Oh, no worries. I get home late all the time anyway. After all, I was working long hours to support us, especially since she was a full-time homemaker. I picked up my spoon, scooped up some of the curry, and brought it close to my mouth. That's when I noticed it. A smell. Sharp, unpleasant, and completely off. I knew seafood curry could be a little fishy, but this was different. This wasn't just fish. It smelled like rotten water. What the hell is that smell? It's not just fishy. It's like something died in a swamp. It was the stench of spoiled fish. Foul and sour, with an undertone of decay that made my stomach lurch. I couldn't believe Hannah had called this her masterpiece, or that she claimed it was so good she couldn't stop eating. But she had offered it to me with such a proud, beaming smile, I couldn't just not eat it. God, it's worse up close. The curry scent must have masked it at first, but now it really smells like it was boiled in sewage or something. Fighting the urge to gag, I somehow managed to get 3 spoonfuls down. That's when I noticed something strange floating in the curry. Something black, unfamiliar, and out of place. Hey, honey, what's this black thing? I asked cautiously. Curry can have all sorts of ingredients, sure, but I'd never seen this before. Hannah looked at me with a mischievous grin and said casually,
"Oh, I think that might be koi poop."
What? I stared at her in stunned silence. She just kept smiling, wide-eyed and eerily pleased with herself.
You know how we have that little pond in the yard? I thought, hey, I bet all that koi water makes a great broth. So I used it to simmer the curry. Cute idea, right? Wasn't it tasty?
Wait, you used the pond water? The one with the koi in it? Oh, God! I bolted to the bathroom and spat everything out into the sink. My throat burned. My stomach was in full revolt. When I returned to the dining room, still pale and shaking, I confronted her. Why the hell would you do something like that? She whined in that overly sweet voice she always used when trying to dodge blame and said,
I'm sorry. It's just, I've never lived alone like you did. I don't really know how cooking works.
I snapped. Still, there's a limit. You used pond water with fish crap and algae and God knows what in it. That's not even common sense. That's survival instinct. As I raised my voice, she suddenly covered her face and burst into tears.
But I went to a friend's house the other day and she made this amazing seafood curry. When I asked her for the secret, she said she didn't use plain water. She made fish stock using white fish. It added so much flavor. So I just wanted to do the same for you.
She looked up at me, tears streaked and shaking.
I made it for you, okay? I just wanted you to have something delicious.
That hit me. For a second, I couldn't say anything, but before I could even process it, she shouted again.
Fish is fish, right? I saw the pond water was kind of cloudy, and I thought, wow, that must be the koi flavor coming out. So I used it in the curry.
At that moment, I honestly thought she'd lost her mind. Did she really think the cloudy pond water was fish broth? Now that she'd said it, it did explain the smell. That murky, foul stench. It wasn't just rot, it was pond water. Stagnant, grimy, koi-filled pond water. I couldn't hold back the nausea. This wasn't just another one of her cooking disasters. This was the worst thing she'd ever made. An abomination of culinary horror. Seafood curry, pond water edition. There's no way I can finish this, I finally said. Hannah burst into tears and threw herself dramatically onto the couch. She lay there sobbing, curled up, her back to me, but I could still hear her sniffling. The sound stabbed at my chest. She made it for me. Even thinking that, I still couldn't bring myself to take another bite.
I did eat it. It was the best seafood curry I've ever made.
She wailed from the couch. I've told you before, store-bought meals or frozen stuff are usually fine.
That's easy for you to say, but I'm a full-time homemaker. What am I supposed to feel good about if I can't even cook?
Then why not just follow a recipe?
If I follow a recipe, it doesn't express my love.
She started dry heaving from crying too hard. It was twisted. She made me eat something disgusting, borderline poisonous, yet she looked like the victim in all of this. I picked up my phone and called a hospital that offered after-hours consultations. I'd like an appointment for 2, my wife and myself. Just like that, Hannah stopped crying. Her tear-streaked face snapped up in shock. We're going to the hospital. It was cooked, so hopefully it's fine, but if either of us gets sick, we need to catch it early. Especially you. You said you ate more than I did.
We don't need to go to the hospital. No, it's not like that. That's not what I meant.
She screamed, her voice spiraling into chaos. Then she started rambling, incoherent and panicked. But slowly, the truth began to leak out.
You crushed my pride as a homemaker. You and your perfect cooking and your calm advice. I just couldn't take it anymore. I snapped. Okay, I didn't mean to poison you. You're a man and you still do housework better than me, cook better than me. How do you think that makes me feel?
So, the pond water? It wasn't because you thought it had koi broth in it? She stared at me like I was insane.
Are you stupid? Of course not. I knew it was filthy. I put it in there because I was pissed off.
I blinked, stunned. But you said it was delicious. You said you ate it too.
You think I'd actually eat that crap? Are you an idiot or what?
I was in shock. All this time I thought I'd married someone who just wasn't good at cooking, a bad cook wife. But now I realize the truth. She wasn't just bad at cooking, she was unstable. She didn't want to go to the hospital because she didn't want to leave any evidence. A diagnosis could be used against her. That meant she knew what she had done was beyond the pale. I felt the love I had for her begin to slip away. I went to the hospital alone and I explained everything to the doctor in detail and received a medical certificate. You seem okay for now, the doctor said. No serious vomiting, fever, or chills, but if anything changes, call us immediately. When I got back home, I wasn't greeted by Hannah, but by her furious parents. Apparently, she had twisted the story to suit her narrative and called them over. I didn't say a word. Instead, I pulled out the medical certificate and handed it to them. Then I brought them into the kitchen and opened the pot of seafood curry. There's no way anyone could eat that! They were speechless. Then her father exploded. You idiot girl! What the hell is wrong with you?
No, it's not like that. This all started because Kevin's too good at cooking. He's a man and he makes me look useless. It's his fault.
You're clearly the one at fault here. We're getting a divorce.
What? No, please wait.
Then I got divorced. She ended up paying me $19,000 in damages. Word of the pond water seafood curry incident spread like wildfire. Small towns have long memories and even longer gossip chains. From what I've heard, my ex-wife is back at her parents' house getting scolded daily and going through something like bridal training. Supposedly she's learning how to cook and getting her mindset straightened out. But honestly, it's probably pointless. If she'd just been a bad cook, she might have still had a chance at remarriage someday. But the fact that she intentionally made that mess and fed it to her husband out of spite? That goes beyond redemption. At least in this town, I can say with absolute certainty, she'll never get married again.
My name is Samantha.